The Insta360 Flow is probably the most lightweight, compact and feature-packed gimbal on the market today. Couple this up with its groundbreaking AI technology, well, you got yourself a winner. In this video, I'm going to take a deeper look at the Insta360 Flow, check out its features and its performance. And make sure you stick around because I'm going to be reviewing the Flow's deep track technology, which is amazing when you pair it up with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's do this! What is going on? It's Anil. Now, I've recently got my hands on the Insta360 Flow and I was so shocked how small and compact it was. I mean, look at it, so tiny. It's not like any other gimbal I've used before. I guess the question is, could it be the best travel gimbal for the iPhone 15 Pro Max? Well, in this video, we're gonna take a closer look. But before we do that, I wanna thank Insta360 for sponsoring the video today and providing this gimbal for me to use. Right, let's check out the packaging because Insta360, they sent me the creator kit. The box feels good, and you know when the box feels good, you're gonna have a brilliant product. Now, in the creator kit, obviously you get the gimbal, but they also provide this magnetic phone mount, which is awesome. We're gonna get into that a little bit later. There's an additional grip that you can attach to the handle, and they provide 3 USB cables, which include a USB-C and also Lightning for your iPhone users. And as well as those power cables, they also have this really cool USB-C light, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, alongside the creator kit, Insta360 also sent me the all-purpose tripod, which is perfect for more pro type shots, especially when you want some additional stability. But let's not forget that Insta360 also provide a nice case to keep everything nice and tidy when you're traveling. Now, I just love the design of this gimbal. It's so lightweight, it's so compact, and it fits straight into my pocket. And when you compare this in terms of value for money, the build quality on this gimbal is amazing. Trust me, you are not going to be disappointed when you get your hands on the Insta360 Flow. Everything to the movement of the motor arms to the action of that magnetic phone clamp hitting that gimbal. Wow, it's brilliant. Whether you're using the joystick or their Smartwheel, that tactile feel you get, you're not going to be disappointed. It feels like a premium product. This gimbal has a free access stabilizer and a built-in selfie stick for more creative shots. You can even angle that phone for easy vlogging. Speaking of vlogging, the Insta360 Flow also has a cold shoe mount, so you can mount your favorite wireless microphone. And just here on the right side of the handle, you have a USB-C charging port. And you've got an additional USB-C port right here for charging your phone while shooting, or you can use that port to power up the USB light. Now, mounting this USB-C light is really easy. All you need to do is attach it to the magnetic arm right here. And then you plug in the USB-C cable and it's ready to go. And it has 3 levels of brightness. And you can also change the color temperature from warm, cool, and mixed. One of the best features of the USB light is the fact that you can turn it. So you can twist that light towards you. If you're vlogging and the light is low, this is perfect. One of my favorite design features is this built-in tripod legs. Now, I haven't seen any other gimbal do this. What I really like about it is I could just fold these down and I've got extra grip. If you're anything like me and you've got hands like shovels, you're gonna really appreciate that extra grip that you can get when holding this gimbal. And when you're done, you can just put that away like that. I mean, this gimbal is so lightweight. I mean, if you take that phone clamp away, that whole gimbal weighs 369 grams. 369 grams. That's almost the weight of a can of fizzy drink. And when I was out and about filming with the Flow, I felt truly agile. And for me, as a smartphone filmmaker, that is so vital. Now, setting up and balancing this gimbal is really easy. It's probably the most simplest setup I've ever used on a smartphone gimbal. The first thing you need to do, attach that magnetic mount to your phone and make sure that little camera icon is pointing in the same direction as the lens on your smartphone. And once that's mounted, this is where the magic happens, right? Because you take your Insta360 Flow and you just attach your phone like that. How quick and easy was that? That's not even the cool bit, because once that phone's attached, all you need to do, short twist of that, look at that I'm ready to go. That was like seconds, and I'm ready to shoot. They call that rapid deploy. It also instantly powers on as soon as it's deployed. So you're just ready to shoot. You can just go for it. Now, the Insta360 has a very simple and intuitive button setup. Everything is centered around this smart wheel right here. So on the left here, you've got the ability to start and stop recording. And this works in the standard camera app as well as the Insta360 Flow app. And just below that, right at the bottom here, you got your power button. Long press on that power button will turn the gimbal on and off, and a double press on it will move it into standby mode. And then the joystick right in the middle of this smart wheel can be used to control the direction of your phone. Now, double pressing on this switch button here on the right will toggle between portrait and landscape. Now, you can actually move the smart wheel around the outside as well, and that's used for things like zooming in and out while using the Insta360 Flow app. Now, moving on to the trigger at the back, one press on that trigger will activate Deep Track. Now, Deep Track is a cool feature, and we're gonna cover that a little bit later, so stick around. Now, pulling that trigger twice will recenter the phone, and then hitting it 3 times will change the orientation depending on what you're shooting. Now, I mentioned gimbal modes because you can switch gimbal modes here with the smart wheel, and there are 6 gimbal modes. Now, what's interesting is that the Insta360 Flow has an auto gimbal mode. And the idea with the auto mode is that the gimbal will adjust to the situation that you're in, so you don't have to keep switching modes. Now, I found this really useful. In almost all situations that I was using, I was just keeping it in auto mode. But you do have other modes available. You've got follow mode, you've got pan follow mode, and you've got FPV, which can all be accessed from the smart wheel on the front of the gimbal. Now, if you pull the trigger once and then pull it and hold, it will move into active plus mode. And what this means is the gimbal will be more responsive to faster movement. Now, finally, holding down on the trigger will move into lock mode. And this is my personal favorite. I use lock mode the most. It's especially useful when you're doing bottom up or side reveal shots, which I do quite a lot of. Right, I'm going to do a little overview of the app. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm just going to go through all the general menu options on there and how you can use this app with your Insta360 Flow. So as soon as the app is loaded up, you can see down here on the left, you've got various menu options. So bottom left, this is where you've got your general app settings. I can turn on the grid, the histogram, as well as various other general app settings. One thing that I would recommend, automatic pop-up connection. That is definitely an option that you want to turn on. Right, the next option on the left of the screen is your gimbal settings. Now in here, I can adjust the gimbal modes. For example, it's in auto at the moment. I can tap on it, go to follow mode, for example, and there's various other gimbal settings that you can adjust from here. The speed of the joystick. You can also calibrate the gimbal, and I highly recommend that you calibrate your gimbal as soon as you've mounted your phone. Now, the next menu on your left is where you can adjust your camera settings. Now, you can go auto, and when I was shooting, I was mostly filming in auto, but you can switch to manual. And in manual, you can do things like change shutter speed, ISO, you can even change the white balance, so it's fully customizable. Now, the next menu item on the left is where you can configure things like resolution or frames per second. Now, I normally shoot in 4K, 60 frames per second or 24 frames per second. But you can pick whichever frame rate is good for you. Now, coming out of that, right in the top left corner, you've got your home button, which goes back to the home of the Insta360 Flow app. Now, moving on to the top of the app, and the first option on that top left is Genie. Now, this is brilliant for when you're out and about and you need some inspiration, you need ideas. If you're at the park or if you're at the seaside, you can tap on Genie and it's going to give you lots of creative ideas and options. Let's try it out. I'm at the seaside. There you go. It's gone away. It's come back with a template. There's different scenes and ideas and inspiration that you can get for when you're at the seaside. And this is a really cool feature from Insta360. So the next option on that top menu is filters. So if I tap on that, down here on the right side, I can now go through and adjust all of the different filters. So I can just tap on all of these, and that's going to apply that particular filter to the video that I'm shooting. Right, the next option is all about controlling gesture control. So if I tap on that little hand, you've got 3 options here. You can turn off gesture control completely, or you can turn it on, so it just depends on your preference. So just over in the top right, you can see two battery indicators. The first one is for the gimbal, the second one is for the phone. And just below that, you got a couple of options. The first one flips between the front and rear facing camera. You got your record button just underneath that, and just below that you can go into the library, which has got all the footage that you filmed with the Insta360 Flow app. Now in the far right is where you've got your shooting modes, and they've got loads of different shooting modes between photo, you've got time lapse, you've got time shift, slow motion. There's loads of different creative effects that you can go through. My personal favorite is the Pano photo mode. Now, Pano photo mode is incredible. When I was off-site, I tested this one. I got some amazing 360 shots. Once you set up the clamp on the phone, on the gimbal, just place it down where you want to start your 360 shot. Hit go and let the flow do its thing. It will just go through a sequence of shots and it will come back with a brilliantly taken 360 photo. Now finally at the bottom, if you've activated your histogram, you'll see that in the bottom left. And also right at the bottom, you can see your settings so you can always keep track of where you're at. The biggest key feature for the Insta360 Flow is its deep track technology. It's probably one of the most advanced AI tracking features I've seen on a smartphone gimbal. And once you've got everything set up, all you need to do is just draw a square around a subject you want to track, and that's it. It will track it from then on. Now, tracking feature was really impressive. You know, you can move and duck and weave as much as you want. You can even go behind objects. If it loses you, as soon as you appear again, it will track you, which is really, really cool. Deep track is even smart enough to recognize the object. So if you track a specific person and you've got another person that comes into the frame, it will ignore that second person and track that first person seamlessly. I tested this extensively when I was out and about, and it picked me up every time. I remember one point we were walking up a hill and I wanted to track a subject, but it was really bumpy, it was steep. I just activated deep track and I was just moving up the hill, and it was keeping that subject in view the whole way up. This just made everything so much easier when I was filming. Let's talk about the performance. Now, the Insta360 Flow has a 2-hour charge time and a 12-hour run time, and it has a payload capacity of 300 grams. Now, I'm using this with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, no issues whatsoever. I also added a clip-on filter to the phone, which took it slightly over the 300 grams. The Insta360 Flow handled it like a champ. I had no problems, and I was filming for long sessions. And like I mentioned earlier, I kept that gimbal in auto gimbal mode for most of what I was doing. With that rapid deploy, I was filming more than I would usually film when I'm out and about. And because of the design and how compact this gimbal is, performing certain moves requires slightly different techniques. So for example, if you're doing low to high sweeping shots, you need to pull that handle out to the side while performing your move. And with that in mind, the motor range is really impressive for something so small, so compact. And like I mentioned, that rapid deploy feature, I could just do that motion all day. I think I have no problem saying that this is probably the best travel gimbal for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So my final thoughts on this gimbal, the Insta360 Flow. If you're looking for something lightweight, compact, something that can fit in your pocket, you can just travel with, you can throw in your backpack, this is perfect. If you're a creator, vlogger, or even if you're just filming on your travels with friends and family, this is perfect. It's a perfect all-rounder. As for the price, well, currently on the Insta360 website, you can pick this gimbal up on its own, $159, but it's currently on offer on their website. I mean, wow, talk about value for money. Insta360 have really hit the nail on the head with this one. Guys, don't stick around, man. I've got the links below. Go and check them out. Grab yourself one of these gimbals. And if you want to learn a little bit more about filming with a gimbal, you need to check out this video right here. And I'll see you in the next one.